What I would like to do is I want to introduce our presenter today, Mr. David Dunn, with Infinity Technology. Here you go.
Good morning. My name is David Dunn. I am the founder of Infinity Technology Consulting. I made that logo using ChatGPT. That's actually version 3 of that logo. Imagine this. You come in Monday morning after a weekend, and this is what's on your computer monitors. The first thing that might go through your mind is an amount of guilt. It's like, uh-oh, did I infect our network? And in the case of a local gun range, when this happened to them, this is ransomware, every single one of their computer screens, as well as their printers and their phones, all had this message demanding crypto, right? They ended up replacing all of their computers. Luckily, their data was not on an on-prem server, it was in the cloud, but that still was like over $12,000, they told me. Here's some real-life stats. Over 60% of businesses attacked never recover from a ransomware. Usually the cost of ransomware alone is pretty overwhelming, but then you think about the loss of business, and that's where this number right here comes up. Cyber insurance used to be a one-sheet application, and now it's almost like you need a tremendous amount of help to fill out the 9-page application for it, and you want a partner that can help you with that. Who are we? Over here on the left, that's me in the corporate world. I have over 20 years of IT experience in the corporate world, a decade at Disney and a decade at Parkway, and about 5 promotions along the way. My last role in corporate was Senior IT Support Manager, and I was approached for a Director of IT position, but the junior brand ambassador was about 1 year old at the time, and I wasn't, I could picture a scenario where I'd get called in the middle of the night, and I didn't want that to happen. And then this guy right here was the infrastructure manager I worked with at Parkway. He is back in the IT field, but he is available for IT projects when I don't have enough bandwidth. And then, of course, I turned my Tesla into a company vehicle. All right, I made this slide with ChatGPT a couple weeks ago, and I love it because we're on the Space Coast, so that's what infinity and beyond seems kind of fitting. I've always loved infinity and the symbol and what it represents, and especially now with AI, quantum computing, I think that's kind of like a direction where, this spacecraft could head. There's 3 different sections. What makes us different is that very top section, where we would be a fractional IT director and then help with AI adoption and partners. So as a technology consultant, I have a channel of over 500 IT partners I can pull from to help me with more complex IT projects outside my comfort zone or my bandwidth. And they can help with some crazy stuff like AI security cameras as well as AI controlled large networks. Let me come back to this real quick. I could see the bottom sort of like UCF students helping us out as I scale this business. Okay, here's what a fractional IT director looks like for a small business. It's not help desk, it's not break fix. We're at the infrastructure level and we're helping you move forward, embrace modern technology, and move as fast as possible to keep your business moving. But yeah, it's like a full analyzation, optimization of the IT environment, reduce cost, optimize performance. All right, here's some of our completed projects. In the upper left, that's a patch panel going into some firewalls and switches. Upper middle, that is a Cat45 and an RJ45 end. 8 cables have to be in exact order or it doesn't work. That's our least favorite part of the job. Here we have a conference room TV. This is a device that sits behind the TV, and a little thing like a pod goes into the laptop to present. Pretty cool. We got a firewall in the bottom left. This was the data center at my last corporate job. We decommissioned that, resulting in over $15,000 a month in savings. And then these little things that look like UFOs are Wi-Fi access points. And as you know, the closer you get to them, the signal is stronger. So you typically want to place them proportionally around an office and set for easy handoff. I mentioned I have partners. There's a couple of my partners. Polaris is a master agent, and that gives me access to over 550 pro IT companies that can help me out for anything outside my comfort zone. My friend actually owns Precision Telecom, and he would come in where you have a complex phone system. That's where I would hand off to him, and that's his gig. User security training, that's usually required for cyber insurance partners, so I can help you pick out cyber insurance and right size the policy. Disaster recovery, that's where you almost plan for hurricanes, floods, fires, etc. Right? You know these events could happen and you're prepared for that event. Email security and filtering, that's a big one. I mentioned AI-controlled security cameras. They can actually detect a spill before someone takes that slip and fall. Right? We can avoid it altogether. Here's how I'm using AI in my business, or at least one aspect. I have an AI receptionist and a help desk. With all of the solicitation calls, my thinking is they would call, they'll speak to Maya, and she's conversational AI. So she'll take a message, and after the call, she'll send me a recap of that conversation. All right, I'm also dabbling in the help desk portion because I am reluctant, I want to deliver a 5-star performance, and an AI help desk might drop the ball on that. And we are offering a complimentary IT checkup. That's like an initial conversation for me to come in, what's your pain points, an overall view of the security posture, make some pro tips, tell them what I could do, and see if we would be a good fit to work together. And then there's my contact information.
And just leave that up.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you. So let me start with questions. What's the market you're looking to work in? What type of business, what size? Kind of give us an idea of what that looks like.
Okay, what I'm working with currently, I think it has to do with the last decade at Parkway Properties. That was luxury office space. So a lot of these property management companies have come to me knowing my, my past. That being said, I have spoken with a couple local law firms, and I'm not really niched down to,
Yeah, great stuff. Great presentation, looks fantastic. Your one piece of feedback and one question for you. So your story at the beginning was fabulous. That is terrifying. So definitely lean into that as much as you can.
Jim's idea.
Right, and that might even be the tip of your wedge that gets you into a company of like, here is a problem you literally cannot solve on your own, business owner, and it could wipe you out, and it could happen tomorrow. So we need to talk about that, right? And I have maybe you've got a very simple package that says for $200 a month, I can come in and give you just the basics, and then you're set, and then we can talk about what's next from there. So that's a great angle to go with. Just a question for the group so we can develop more questions. What's the biggest challenge you're facing right now that we can help with?
Oh, it's a variety of things. I'm seeing that my time is my most valuable asset. I think dealing with some smaller mom and pop type businesses that are really frugal, and I might be outgrowing them pretty quickly. That's where like the space shuttle idea, where I want to be a fractional IT director. Don't think of me as tech support, because that's more Geek Squad at Best Buy, right? We got to use my time wisely and not get wrapped up in the smaller tasks.
To summarize that, is your market fit probably your biggest challenge right now? That you're most likely to be taking people that can't afford your services and you want to be somewhere else?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, or I want to market the more premium package. I don't want to market tech support.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Over here. So you came across with the problem, and fear works better in politics than it does in business.
Right.
And you touched upon the value a little bit, right? You did all features and benefits, but that really doesn't tell us the value, okay? And the value, to me, of having a strategic fractional CTO, CIO, whatever, is that you're bringing some peace of mind to the table, okay? I will sleep at night better at night knowing that my cybersecurity needs are handled.
Right. Yep.
Okay? And because entrepreneurs, we know 95% of us fail. In other words, I have a 95% chance of failing. Okay?
Yeah.
We know that people are getting hacked and whatnot by the tens of thousands every day, right? But we also know it's never going to happen to us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? So you have to get over that, and the best way to do that is focus a lot more on the value of what you provide.
Yeah.
Okay? So the value of what you provide, and I'm sorry if I'm sounding like a broken record, but, you know, are you saving me time? Are you saving me money? And how are you making my life better? So
And
if you focus on those things, that will bring more business in, especially the more sophisticated business clients that you want.
And one thing I failed to mention that I usually like to say is it's kind of like a small business has access to a six-figure IT department fractionally, right? Because they don't need a dedicated IT department. So I usually try to get that in there, but I failed to. But I appreciate your feedback.
Just as two things. The business that I use in order to stay afloat, to afford everything that I do, is as I do cybersecurity. I'm an ISS MP, so I do market analysis. I do security over large systems and things of that nature. Some of the things that you mentioned on here are industries in and of themselves. And I'm curious, are they... do you basically access like a consolidation network in order to access those things? Because some of the slides that you had are, yes, they can be $250,000 in damage, but they can also be entire logistical nightmares to just activate. We're not talking about to the customers, we're talking about to facilitate on your end to get to them. And I don't know, do you have someone in your employee that can even explain what that looks like to you? Because that is not a small ask. I mean,
Right.
DRAS on its own, disaster response as a service, is a huge ask. A person needs to be certified. There's a whole list of requirements on what to do when it hits the fan.
Yeah.
What you need to know from a security posture, specifically on that, is a huge responsibility.
Yeah.
There are certifications that virtually nobody in the United States has, from ISO to IEC certifications. I mean, I love what you're doing and why you're doing it, and the posture needs to reach the small business platform. But the amount of people that are certified to do what you're claiming your business can do is a very small market. And most of them are attached to defense contractors and things like that. So if you don't have someone actually attached to that market, you're going to find there's an awful lot of charlatans and people that are going to be taking advantage of you and your potential customers.
Yeah, no, I think what I'm attempting to do is no small ask. I asked ChatGPT to roast me, and it says, Dave, you're trying to do too much.
Well,
and that's true.
I'd be more than happy to sit down and talk with you about some of the pitfalls that you're going to run into, specifically because I do work with defense contractors and I do work with some of those people. And rooting out who is genuine and who isn't is not an easy thing to do, specifically when it comes to security. But with what you're doing, I think it's a tremendous opportunity,
Right.
but it's also a tremendous chance of losing everything very, very quickly if you don't know what you're
understood.
biting.
So, Mark?
What are you doing to protect your brand?
Well, I'm looking into cyber insurance and errors and omissions. I think that's a big one for what I'm doing. I think I was quoted on $1 million policy, 2 million, and 3 million. Thinking of just ways to try and cover my liability. I think as if I scale this thing, I try to find experts in each area to help me out.
I was getting at, what if you get a love letter this afternoon from an attorney saying Infinity Technology Consulting is already being used? How are you protecting? If this is the where you're hitching your pony for the future, how are you going to protect that so that somebody else just doesn't tell you change your name? Because if you get told to change
Yeah,
your name,
no, I talked to a brand attorney before I, well, right when I created my logo initially and before I put it on my Tesla. They gave me the red light that it wouldn't interfere with the car brand was my concern, right? They gave me the red light that, hey, it's not taken. The reason why it's not Infinity with a Y is because that was taken. So I did kind of clear that when I first got started.
All right. Thank you, David. Quick idea to leverage your time as you hear questions that reoccur. Go create short videos to not answer it, but to engage that further so that they want to call you back. I've created a lot of videos to not answer the question when those questions get asked, but engage them into greater education so that they want to call you to get the total solution.
Okay, cool.
Scott does a, right here, and then
He already asked my question. Oh, just a quick update, but all the dealerships that were selling cars, the small dealerships, they were down for 3 weeks because of ransomware.
Yeah.
And my main question was, what insurance
And a
do you
lot of
have?
businesses think they're almost like, oh, we're fine. And I kind of feel like they're winging it until they get it. And then they're like, oh, now we need an IT guy.
Yeah, most think it's not going to affect me, and then they go out of it.
Yeah, what I've been seeing with some of my clients is I'm doing 70% more than they were doing. We're seeing Windows 10 Home with McAfee, maybe expired. I'm using Sentinel-1 Complete, a best-in-class with endpoint detection and response, which is like McAfee or Norton on steroids. That's a big one. And best practices like nightly backups.
Well, there's so much more to it.
Yes, there is.
David, quick question. So, like what Rupert was saying, like an overview, how are people receptive to your services? And I ask that because you wonder, like when somebody comes in and says, hey, we're going to do technology consulting, is that still foreign to them? And how do you get past that of, oh, we, like you said, we have McAfee or we have something like that. And then the other part would be like, I love the presentation in the beginning. Is there a way to say, what's your time worth, right? You know what your time is worth. So set a quick scenario of, and I'm curious what everybody else think. You come in, you log in, it's 8 o'clock in the morning, you get ready to set your email, nothing happens. How much time is being wasted and lost as far as you've got an office full of 40 people, they're all making, let's say, $1,000 a day to make it easy, and you're shut down for 3 days, and all that waste. And is that a pain point? And to really dial it down, because it's easy to say, oh, well, you lose time and you lose money. How much time and how much money? And just like the gentleman over here said, 3 weeks. If you take 3 weeks times thousands of dollars,
Yeah.
Eventually, if it's going to cost you $100,000 and lost labor and time, and I'm going to offer you $1,000 a month package, wow. Okay, I'm in.
Yeah, to try and touch on that question, I did recently speak to a guy named Carson. He was a cybersecurity expert. They do make calculators for downtime, so you can help them make it in Excel. He gave me some advice is to, from a former MSP owner, let the client do the math of how much is going away, and they're like, they want to blame you for that math, but they're like, oh my goodness, yes, we need you as soon as possible.
The other thing I'm just going to say, education. So if you had that ransomware slide, and then what are your options now? Do you call the FBI? Do you call Orange County Sheriff? Who do you call? They don't know what happens. So that is, like what Rupert was saying, Americans are reactionary, and they're going to say, well, it's not going to happen to me. We have an IT department. You say you're a tech consulting person. We've got that covered. You have to let them know. They walk into the office, ransomware, who do you call? That's why Legal Shield is so powerful. You have it before you need them, right? I think that's an educational piece that you need to hit home.
All right, any other questions up here? Sean.
Oh, Sean's got a question for me.
Oh, put your seatbelt on.
This is fantastic presentation.
Thank you.
I talked to you a lot.
Yeah,
I hope
appreciate
you
it.
listen to me properly.
I'm doing my best.
I know you are hearing, but listening. I think you are sitting on a gold mine. This is unbelievable. You should have 30-second elevator pitch, period. Mm-hmm. Hook them. Like you, trust you, and can't live without you. That's it.
Yeah.
Everything speaks for yourself. Focus. You said that your time is the most valuable thing. Focus is the key thing. There are 35,000 decisions we make. Don't give another headache to them.
Yeah.
You should be very, very simple. Hook them, focus on it, use 80-20 rule, get into that habit. When you go for a meeting or anywhere, you go with a purpose and achieve that purpose. Otherwise, you wasted your time.
Okay.
So you go through that. Anytime you are dealing with people, there's a risk. You should avoid all their contact, 101. You should have very few, which makes the. Or you can print money. I'm telling you, you can print money. Only thing is use that consulting is not a right word there. Infinity is fantastic. Look, consulting is not. You are a transformer.
Advisor?
More than that.
Transformer.
Yes.
I
you
like
are
that.
Transforming them.
I like
You are
it.
saving their lives. They are saving. You are a savior.
Yeah.
So use those some kind of thing. Let them ask you the question. Then you ask, how much time do you have? Don't answer it right away. Mm-hmm. So you'll be surprised. And let's talk about it. We talked a lot. I know. But
Yeah.
I want you to listen, and let me help you out on that. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right, last question.
Great job, David.
Thank you.
So I love that you called your daughter your brand ambassador on the front in the beginning. And I have your phone, obviously, because I've been taking your pictures. And you have a picture of her on your phone as well in her adorable little tutu.
Yeah.
Since she's your brand ambassador, it would be super cute if you got her in a superhero costume.
Oh.
And put that for your picture there. And then just the one on your phone. And then, it's still your daughter on your phone, but now
Yeah.
she's like always your brand ambassador.
Yeah.
So
okay.
she's super cute.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done it with ChatGPT. She has a blue Frozen dress, and then I said put like a glowing infinity symbol on her. Yeah, so that picture probably already exists. But yeah, great idea.
So I had another question too, or potential concern. So as a fractional CTO, you opened up with the cybersecurity scare, and then you talked about being in IT consulting. So in I just exited from a game company. We had 37 job descriptions, all IT related. Mm-hmm. And so when you are offering something like that, it can get muddled. The message, it's going to be difficult providing the right message. So my suggestion is if you really want to go after the cybersecurity aspect and helping protect people, build a wall around their cyber systems, then I would just focus almost entirely on that and build relationships and partnerships with other companies that can fill in the gaps with the other things.
Right, right. And I have sort of considered, there's something called managed detection and response. Essentially, that would be me sort of using a third-party help desk for the cybersecurity stuff to kind of get that off my plate. It's more automated. It's another level of protection above EDR that I'm using currently. But yes, great feedback.
All right, so what can we, as the Orlando community of 1 million cups, do
Okay.
to help you move forward?
Well, obviously, like advice on, I'm 20 plus years in IT. Now I'm an entrepreneur. I'm forming my own business. And I would like advice and potentially investment opportunities, sort of help find my way. And I don't know, I would say I'm doing pretty good for almost not even a year old.
All right.
You don't want to find your way, you want to plan your way.
Okay.
I think the biggest piece of feedback I hear from that, and I think you heard from kind of a couple different people, in your rocket ship, pick the one or two things you want to be and make your entire existence around that.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you want to be, from what you're talking, you want to be fractional IT director. It needs to be infinity fractional IT direction.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing, you need to be the hammer that says the same thing over and over and
Yeah. And to me,
it leads you to who are the people that I need to talk to that support my services, that actually need this thing, that actually know what I'm talking about, and only talk to those people.
right, right. And part of my vision right now is I would like to be the IT, fractional IT director and AI adoption with partners, right? That channel of partners I have. And then below it, I could see me scaling, and there's a lot of tech people that have been laid off and available. So, they could fill in those gaps, as well as if they're on the same level as me, more of the fractional IT director and AI adoption.
Great stuff. All right, thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Jim.
Hand you a note for So good stuff. And I got some good tips out of that too. So if you want to see what Scott was talking about, go look him up at Stewardship Matters, right, on YouTube. And he does a great job, little fireside chats and things, talking about stuff that you need to know, like on legacy planning and different things like that, a little bit different, which is really good. And that is exactly as Scott said, it's building trust. And especially in a world like this where everybody and his brother seems to be doing IT these days, how can you differentiate yourself and show your knowledge and show your expertise so that somebody says, I want to call you, I want to talk to you, I want you to come take a look at my company. So that's good. So at this point, our second speaker had to step out. So Rupert, are you up for taking a few questions? Sure. We'll do a quick Meet the Mentor. Byrne, do you want to participate?
This is hospitality, yes.
Meet, okay. Angela? So this is basically, for those of you who haven't been here for this, it's kind of an open forum where ask questions. What are you having problems with? What are you having challenges with? What would you like some help with? And ask us, and it's participation as well from the audience, but we want to help answer questions for you and work forward from there. So Rich, kick us off.
Good morning. So I am currently in a situation where, as a startup with hope, I've actually met somebody that has real positive implications to possibly coming in on the team. I have legal documents done very well, but I don't have any legal representation. If I were to take a jump forward and there was money to come in, what is the safeguard or process or positioning one takes when you're a startup with, you're just looking to bring people on respectfully and responsibly? How does one go about positioning themselves to do that?
So the best thing is, I think a lot of you are aware, I represent a company called Legal Shield. And what Legal Shield does is we exactly have plans strictly for business that allow a business owner what's called a legal service plan in the industry. And it provides a suite of services that 90% of the business owners' questions, concerns are going to be handled with that. So the most popular plan that we have for a business itself is about $100 a month, $115 a month. I personally, because it's just me, I have a plan that's added on to a personal protection, which is $68 a month, okay? But that covers me, my family personally, and it covers my business. but it does things like unlimited consultation, contract and document review, debt collection letters, help with IRS audit protection, and things that business owners are worried about. So I'll give you the perfect example. A few weeks ago, I had a conversation with a gentleman. He runs a 200-employee security company in southern Arkansas. He was a referral. And we got onto a Zoom, and he said to me, Jim, the only reason I'm taking this phone call is because I had heard of Legal Shield. I'm familiar with what it is. I'm $4,000 out of pocket. It's the 5th of the month. I need help. I said, well, what do you need help with? Consultation, contract and document review, debt collection letters. I had to bite my lip to prevent from smiling because it's perfect. So we talked a little bit, and I said, if I could solve those problems for you for $100 a month, $115 a month, should we finish this conversation? He said yes. I sent him some information. The next day he called me back, and he's been a member. So it's definitely, those are the things that we do. And that's the best way for a startup to be able to get in and get that help that you need.
I want to add to that too, because this is super important. This is one of those major, massive steps that so many small business owners that are just starting out skip or skimp on, and it will bite you in the most expensive ways later on. I've seen it 1,000 times. You want to handle this now. And so a service like Legal Shield, not very expensive. It's a great, they have a great pool of many, many resources for you to tap into. And so you want to take advantage of that. But do not, if you don't hear anything else, do not skip that very, very important step.
Just out of curiosity, how many people here use Legal Shield?
4, 5, 6 people. So, absolutely, if when you're starting out, if you're looking for investors or partners, they're looking for 2 people on your team, an attorney and a CPA. Okay? Because they know, because those are the 2 of the most important things to them, is how you protect yourself and from legal problems and from IRS problems, okay? Or criminal problems, as we saw from Winter Park 2 weeks ago. But in any case, you want to make so, and there's different types of attorneys, just like there's different types of IT people. There's different, right? So you need an IT or an IP attorney who to help you with your trademarks and your patents and your copyrights and things like that to protect the information that you've come up with, right? Assuming that you've done your homework and you're not infringing on anybody else's stuff. Then, of course, you need a corporate attorney to help with documentation, partnership agreements, NDAs, things like that. I think you've already been through most of that, if not all of it. And then, of course, you need another attorney that specializes. If you're looking for capital, there's attorneys that specialize in that, right? So they know all about safe agreements. They know all about all the other types of agreements out there, and they help you negotiate with the money people. Because I'm telling you, I met a guy last night, gave me a testimonial about Orlandopreneur, but he's looking for capital and he's meeting with his people and he's like, my gosh, these people are, this guy wants 51% of my company. And I'm like, well, 51% of nothing is still nothing, right? But the thing is, you know, I won't go off into that rabbit hole. But in any case, the thing is you've got to have the right attorneys. And my perfect attorney is not someone who says no, knee jerk. Oh, I want to do this. No. I want to do this. No. No. The best attorney is someone who says, that's an interesting idea. Let me see how I can make it work. Okay? So those are the types of attorneys that can help a company grow and transform a lot quicker than companies that just, you know, they just shoot down every idea that you've got. Okay? So that would be my 2.5 cents.
They talk to, ChatGPT or Google and cross their fingers and start hoping. Right. And 2 things that, well, Rupert touched on You know, one attorney does not fit all. There's 125 some odd different specialties out there, and most attorneys only practice 2. If that, a lot of them just do 1. So it's important, and then that's the uniqueness of using a service like Legal Shield, because you have access to the entire law firm of attorneys to help. The other thing that you had mentioned, so I also do some stuff in commercial lending, and one of the biggest things lenders look for is who's on your board of directors, who's there to advise you. And so many times you've got people that are coming in and they've got a great idea, they might have money to put into it, but they have no advisors, they have nobody to help them. And it's like, we need to help you put together a board of directors. Well, what do I need that for? You want to get money? You need a board of directors. That's just the way it is. You know, it's a challenge a lot of times with that. So, okay, next question.
I just wanted to add to that too. Same idea on CPAs, right? Some CPAs will like, I'd love to save you money on taxes. Some CPAs are like, you can't do that. That's illegal.
Yeah,
Pick the right one.
that's it. All right, you had a question?
They got a mic. They got a mic back there.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, across the box.
Oh, okay, perfect.
My question for feedback from y'all is, what is your take on the impact of AI? I've got 4 anecdotes. I can just share 2 real quick ones. One, these are real world things that are really happening. We met with an A-list client of ours, and we facilitated a meeting with a landscape architect. This was about 2 years ago. Well, today, AI completely displaced the need for that landscape architect with our client. The second one, I have a young man, he's like a son, he's owns 12 companies, he's a wealth manager. He asked Chat to build a portfolio for an investment with real products, and in 90 seconds, it put together a portfolio, and he said it would take his office team a couple of days to have done what it did, and he went to his office and he told his whole team, you're not going to have jobs in 5 years. And so my question to y'all is, what are y'all hearing down here in Florida about AI? What's the word on the street? How it can displace?
I'm about ready to jump out of my seat here. So first of all, AI, I see AI mostly inundating business with more mediocrity. Okay? Because let's face it, AI is software. Software is written by humans. Okay? And so the AI is only going to be as good as the information that it has access, to which it has access. Okay? And so, and honestly, it's not even really AI. It's still machine learning. And what they're doing is they're going out and they're just searching information, right? You can correct me if I'm wrong. They're just searching for information. They're pulling it together. They're collating it into a manner that is presentable, and then voila, okay? So that landscape architect, well, first of all, they should be learning AIs and using it to, provide people with, because the landscape architect's going to know a hell of a lot better what prompts to use in AI to provide the right thing for your client to optimize their landscape. I'm going through all that right now. Optimize the landscape, optimize, the natural features of the land, blah, 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 right? So it's their fault for not doing that. Okay. However, again, AI is not going to be, AI is only replacing people in bigger companies, right? Because they need to make more money to appease their stakeholders, their shareholders. So on smaller businesses and whatnot right now, a lot of people are going into AI, but they're still trying to figure out how to use it and so forth. So my suggestion is, don't worry about AI. Terminator isn't going to happen. I mean, there's only four computers in the world, quantum computers in the world. In order for us to get AGI, it's going to take 5, at least, more likely 10 years before that happens. So in the meantime, everybody's just going to be going, we're going to have a bubble, where there's going to be an AI bubble, trust me, either by the end of this year or beginning of next year, everybody's going to be running from it. So but it's like the internet, it's here to stay, okay? So don't worry about AI. I would be using it, I would learn how to use it, but just understand that all the information you get from AI, a little tongue in cheek or pinch of salt or whatever.
But just in case, be nice to Alexa.
Absolutely, be nice. I'm going to add to that and maybe say a little bit of what you said in a different context, and that is every person who's in business, whether you're a business owner or whether you're, no matter your level in business, you have to find ways to complement your business, your role, yourself with AI. It's not going away. It's here to stay. It's moving fast. It's moving faster and faster and faster every day. And so it's a lot for all of us to stay on top of, but it's a must. You've got to find ways to complement the business that you are already running with AI from an efficiency perspective, from an effectiveness perspective, from, AI is a great tool for just letting you know what you're, going through your, what do they call it? Your,
Experience.
your growth plan, but your oh my gosh, where you go through your challenges, your threats, your
risks,
your SWOT analysis. Jeez, but use it for that because it's going to come up with things that you haven't otherwise considered. Just because it can go through so much data, so much faster, and so many considerations that again, use it to complement what you're doing already.
Yep. And something I've been learning about AI, which really blew my socks off, is most people are just using AI primarily like using Google or some search engine. And like Rupert said, AI is only as good as the data that it gets. Well, if you're working with certain data, you can actually input into the AI files, documents, things that you need information so it gets to know you better and your style better. So now when you say, hey, I need you to use this document to help craft this, then all of a sudden you've got a tool, because that's ultimately what it is, a way to help you. People ask me that all the time. Is this going to replace lawyers? No, they're actually being sued because attorneys are trying to use AI to pull up cases that they found don't even exist. It's all make-believe.
AI is just a tool. Okay? I think it's still you control. 6 inches between our ear.
Yep.
I wrote about it. Okay? Because this is where everything is. We have 35,000 decisions we are making every day. And it can't handle. You come up with a problem, complex, they say, hell with you. Come back to me with simplest solution. Okay, that's what you have to think about it. And AI hallucinates a lot. I have one agent, that's it. I call Junior Sherpa. He knows me inside out where I am going, my vision and North Star. I'm keeping in check. Okay? So please, it's nice to know that, but it's still your brain. You have to know where you are going. You have to know why 92 or 95% fail first. Everybody's failing. Don't argue with that. Don't kid yourself. You have to know that first. Then you come up with your own vision and a North Star with a why. Why you're there. There should be a purpose for it. And then you can use easily. And if anybody's interested, please spend 15 minutes with me. That's all I need. I will help you out to get anything you want to, you can achieve it. Okay, I'm writing about it. It's coming tonight, most likely, that blog. Thank you very much.
So we've got 2 questions, but we're on time. So if you guys are okay, we're going to run about 5 minutes late. Okay?
So two questions really quick. One, I have an issue letting go. As I'm sure most people have an issue letting go. I still do freelance work in cybersecurity, working for all the people that I work with, and I have an issue with stepping away from that to work solely on my own projects. I make a lot of money doing what I do, and taking the pay cut that I would have to take in order to invest in myself is not an easy decision to make. And I know a lot of people probably have that same pain point that they're trying to address. I haven't figured out how to address the whatever that impasse bubble is. And I guess the more important question is, I've created the technology of the thing that I want to do. I've created the entire infrastructure of everything that I want to do. But I know I can't do everything in a business. And so I need a board of directors, but I don't know how to attract a board of directors, and I don't know what that looks like. And so I was hoping you could give me
talk
the...
about that on the side after, because that's going to take a little bit.
That's such a huge conversation, but I will say this. That's a trap that many, many entrepreneurs fall into. You just answered your own question. You said, I'm making so much money doing the thing that I'm good at, but I've got all these other tasks that I have to address. You have to allocate your resources, tie a dollar amount to your value, the value that you have in your business when you're doing the thing that makes all the money, and then contract out the rest, anything that's less than that. You've got to find people that you can trust to delegate to.
I don't trust very many people.
And you're going to hang yourself because of it.
Read the book Who Not How.
And,
There's so many books.
and believe it or not, I am allergic to boards of directors. I've never had one. But I have had the most badass advisory boards you could possibly imagine. So all they really need to know is that you're getting the right advice. Okay? So when you set up your advisory board, number one, they don't have fiduciary responsibilities, right? So it's a hell of a lot easier to get them to be on your advisory board. And then just keep them engaged, right? And then show them how they're going to benefit from the relationship as well. But she's right. The value of your time is how much people are paying you right now per hour. Okay, if it's $180 an hour, then that's what your time is worth. Okay, so without a proper plan of what you want to do, you won't have any idea as to how valuable your time will be a year from now. Okay, so you need to be able to have that plan and say, okay, I'm willing to sacrifice this much money from this other thing that I'm doing in order for short-term sacrifice for the long-term gain of surpassing that number a year from now, and then you can make that decision and say, see it.
I have a question about the importance of small business and entrepreneurship and local economy. I'm going to preface it with a 15-second story. On the radio, I heard a fantastic interview about Pittsburgh and the Pittsburgh economy, as they have really suffered from lack of steel, and then they tried to bring in a plastic manufacturing company to kind of this kind of it's the factory mindset. It's the employee mindset of how if we get a big enough industry, it will feed everyone in our community, and the exact opposite happened. Mm-hmm. They're doing worse now after trying to replace the steel industry with a plastic industry because so many more other plastic industries, manufacturing plants were created. How do you see, in your experience with Orlando, and we do have big businesses, but we have businesses of all size. They specifically said at the end of that interview that the small towns that have switched to small business run are doing so much better rather than try to get another big corporation to feed everyone. How do you see small businesses and entrepreneurship creating stability in the potential instabilities of AI, of energy, of all these different things? How do you see small business and fitting into that? For local economy?
So small businesses account for 13 times more innovation than the larger companies. And they're 99.9% of all businesses in the United States. And they employ just pretty much 50% of all people in all jobs in the country. So, and the beauty of small businesses is that when you walk down Park Avenue or Orange Avenue or Broad Street or whatever, if you were looking for a restaurant, you have a bunch of different choices to choose from, right? And so if you want Mexican, you want Chinese, you want American, you want French, right? It's all about choice. And that's what small businesses offer. Large businesses that were once startups, by the way, they are incapable of offering that choice because they're just building and building and building based on a certain target market or a certain product or whatever. I'm not talking about your P&Gs and whatnot, but that offer thousands of products. But my point is that small businesses are the backbone of every economy in the world. And by ignoring small businesses, that has prevented Orlando from ascending into being the startup mecca that it could be, because we're number one in the country for startup companies, but we're pretty much last in the country for startup jobs. And every single company on the face of the earth that has ever existed, they all have one thing and one thing only in common, and that they were all startups at one point. And so if we're feeding them, then we're increasing the ability to provide the value and the variety and everything and all the other in every service and every product that there is in that we want in our community. So I hope that helps. I don't know if you guys want to add.
Thank you all.
Yep, and
for your help. Go ahead.
I'll add quickly too, Orlando is full of startups. They're everywhere, and that's why we're all here, right? We want to support that and nurture it, and we're deeply invested in that. And so the only way to continue that is for us to spread the word, continue to support one another, ask questions, be there for one another, and keep growing, the small business, the entrepreneurial spirit here.
Exactly. And if you're looking for something really specific like that, you need to go see Jane, a resident research librarian, because she will help you access tools and resources that most of us don't even know are around.
Well, and we have a whole slot of people that are here to support
Exactly.
startup, and a lot of those are either free or very, very low cost.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's important to know where they are. So, all right, so let's thank our experts. So these are some of the companies that we were talking about that they mentioned. Trilogy Leaders is Angela. She runs a vestige group of top CEOs and helps them run their companies. And Rupert, which we don't have on this slide, was Burnout Ventures and now Orlandopreneur. Okay? Speaking of Orlandopreneur, real quick, Rupert.
So the business model canvas is dead. It's dead. Why? Because since 2008 or 2010 when it came out, it has not moved the needle for success in startups. It was a 95% failure rate back then, and it's a 95% failure rate now. So I would like to introduce you to the Venture Canvas, which basically fixes all the problems, of which there are quite a few, including a fatal one. We fix these problems for your business to give you an instant 10 to 12x boost in your chances for success. And this is the precursor to a workshop that we'll do in the future. So if you attend this, you'll get the homework and other things that you need to do and a better understanding of what the Venture Canvas can do for you. and it's basically a planning document. And after this event, you'll have a better idea as to what you might need to do in the future. And after the workshop, I guarantee you will sleep better that night. So you can sign up, and we're sending out emails and things like that, and we have posts on social media, so follow us on social media, and you'll see the links, and then we'll be able to get you set up. It's this Friday from 11:30 to 1:30 over here in Church Street Exchange, just 2 buildings on the other side of the tracks. Okay?
Perfect. All right.
That way.
Yeah. Yeah, that way. All right. So make sure that you like, follow, and share on social media. If you took any pictures, please share those as well. It helps expose us so people will come out and see. Connect with somebody. Go to some of the local coffee shops. There's a great little place over on Robinson called Crafting Commons, which is right between Orange and Magnolia. Great little place right there. And then Monday, Monday, May 4th, if you play golf or you're interested in sponsoring your company or networking with some of the top business leaders around, Orlando Rotary is doing a golf tournament for charity. So if you have any questions, come see Denny about that, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. So why are you here? Well, the best thing to do is do what you're doing, attend. But once you see the value we bring out and you want to learn and share about your company for some practice, then apply to present, and we'll help you prepare your presentation. We'll kind of work with you to kind of craft it from there, and then share your information and learn something. David, did you learn anything today? Sure did. Absolutely. It's a great way to do that. So why present? Marketing and brand awareness. It lets us know that you're out there. Practice and feedback, as we've talked about. Create strategic partnerships. I think that's the biggest, most overlooked section of networking. Most people, when they go out to network, they're looking for, how can I sell you my product or service? Whereas you should be going out and looking, who do you know that I need to know? How can I help you, and how can you help me? Okay? So create strategic partnerships, hiring and retaining talent, and get to know you experience. Organizers on the committee, raise your hand. If you have any questions about wanting to come in and present, or any other questions about 1 million cups, come see one of us. And I'll leave you with this thought from Simon Sinek. The goal of a leader is to give no orders. Their job is to give direction and intent, and let others figure out what to do and how to get there. And that's an amazing book. If you haven't read it, or if you don't know who Simon Sinek is, or if you really want a great experience, listen to it on Audible. Because the way that he starts that book is a true story about Johnny Bravo, that's a call sign of one of the captains. Now he's a top leader in the military, that was flying a mission in Iraq and Iran and that whole thing back in Afghanistan, where they were going. And you sit there and you listen to it, and he describes in detail all of the stuff going on. It's like you're watching a movie. And I just listen to it sometimes, just that first 5 to 10 minutes of the book, it just fires you up and really gives you some drive. So do that. Have a great week. Go kill it. Turn your phones back on.